Can I tell you a story? Some of you have heard the story, most of you haven't. And though the story has many layers, let's just make it simple and somewhat literal. So there is this king. It comes from this book, Arabian Nights, Hizaro Yakshab, Qasay Shahrzad. It's about a king who is very attractive, also has a good amount of power. One of the nice things about this king is that he inspires a good amount of fear in people, so that when he demands something, you have no choice but to say yes to him. And then very much like Trump, I suppose, once he gets what he wants, he disposes of you. It's a young king, and so every night he has a woman in his bed. He invites them in, unrobes them, beds them. In the morning he has his guards come in, the woman is taken away and hanged. It's kind of like you buy a table from IKEA, you worship it, and then after a couple of years you put it out there in the pavement for someone to take. And so after many weeks and months and years of doing this, it's time for this younger woman to enter his bedroom or his court, and her name is Shahrzad. In Persian, Shahrzad comes from two words. Shahr means city and Zad means birth. And if you were to look at this name metaphorically, it would mean that someone has the power to walk into your life, demolish most of the cities that we've built on desires and passions and memories, and then build a brand new city inside you. So she has the power to birth cities or new memories that are powerful enough to get rid of the old ones. And so she enters the courts, and the king looks at her and says, "Disrobe." And the woman says, "No." I'm not really quite sure how the king reacted, but he wasn't too pleased. So he turns up the volume and this time screams at her, "Disrobe." And again the woman says, "No." And the king says, "Please disrobe." And the woman says, "Okay, one condition, let me tell you a story." Who dares to challenge this king? No one yet except this young woman, and because she's so attractive, she's so intense, and she knows well the art of lovemaking, the king has no choice but to say, "Okay, tell me the story, make it quick so we can have sex." The woman says, "Okay." So she begins the story, and it goes on and on and on and on for hours. And the king begins to yawn and fall asleep. He wakes up in the bed alone, looks at the woman, she's sitting on a chair in front of him, and says, "Did the story end?" No, there's some left to it. He says, "Okay, well maybe you can finish it up tonight, and then we can have sex." And so the night comes, she begins the story, and it goes on and on and on and on. You know, it's like a Rambo movie. I have no idea how it concluded, and you can't fall asleep. And so the king thinks less about having sex with this woman and more about how the story is going to end. And so the following day comes, and the woman continues with the story, and it doesn't end. And this goes on for 1,001 nights. Do you know what happens to someone when you spend like 1,000 days with them? Imagination grows, fantasy grows, desires grow. And it's more than you just wanting their body. You've grown attached to the way they look, you've grown attached to the way they smell, the way they make you feel, the way they make you think. And so on the 1,001 night, the woman finishes the story. But by this time the king had grown such respect for this young woman, he asked if she would lay with him in bed. She said yes, but before I do that, can I tell you another story? And so another 1,000 nights went by, and by this time the king had fallen in love with her. You know, sometimes you fall in love with someone, and the ultimate gift is for you to lay next to them. That's the fruit. But when it's not given to you, you have a couple of options. You either wait patiently until it comes, or you just say, "The hell with it. Just going to walk away from her and go to Terry." And so eventually they sleep together. She teaches him how to kiss and all the other stuff. And then she wakes up in the morning next to him. And like before, he wants to get rid of this woman, but he comes to realize he can't. And one of the nice things about the story is, first, if you were to take it in a simplistic way, is if you're a woman, and I suppose heterosexual woman, if you like a man making weight for 1,001 nights, I don't know these days if any man is willing to wait that long, but make this person wait and wait and wait and wait. Because love, one of the things it does in intimacy is that once you become saturated, you lose interest. And once you lose interest, you become bored. And usually men have a good amount of power. They just walk away and the women just feel abandoned. So one of the nice things about the story is that if you're a woman and you like someone and this man likes you back the way you do him, just make him wait. Every time he says, let's have sex, you say, well, let's go have coffee, let's go for a walk, let's go hiking. And then exhaust him until he just passes out on the sofa. Do this over and over and over and over again until he falls in love with you. And he's not going to fall in love with your body just yet. He's going to fall in love with the way you cook. He's going to fall in love with the way you make him feel. He's going to fall in love eventually with your emotions, the way you think about things, your parents. And then once you realize he's fully taken the bait and he's held hostage by these emotions and thoughts, then you can have sex with him and he's not going to go anywhere. One of the nice books that came out, there are many books that talks about this particular topic, sex. One is Kama Sutra, the other is the Golden Lotus. Some of the books on the art of lovemaking that come from Egypt, the Sumerian tradition especially. It's about delayed gratification, that you have, a few days of foreplay, and then you have, at the very end, where you're satisfied. And the foreplay is difficult. It's like you ask a question, and I'm going to spend like 45 minutes telling you a story. And just as the class is about to end, then I'll give you the answer and we'll go home. That's how it is. Now, for something to be prolonged, it has to have some depth. In other words, if you just want to talk about tables and chairs of your bedroom or your house, the conversation is going to end very, very quickly and you will bore your companion. She will no doubt bore you. And then after 5-10 minutes, you'll say to yourself, what am I doing here? Maybe I should have just stayed home and watched the movie. But if you are with someone who has a good amount of depth and they're able to kind of withhold their body from you for a while, then that's somewhat attractive. It keeps you going, the chase. And that's what Dante is.